Hello, everyone. Anything to anybody?
Hello.
This is a chart of USO.
Mhm.
You can see this is the 2-year chart. Okay, right back here,
Mhm.
this is back where Russia invaded Ukraine, right here. See it?
Yeah, interesting. Got it.
Okay, and
February of
then,
yep, got it.
yeah, it was like,
2022.
yeah, sometime in February. And I'm sure they were doing exercises. So I think back at the end, I think the smart money, look at this, back in December started building in that premium into the price of oil, because the price of oil went from $50 up to $87 after the war started.
Wow.
And then
It's
it
only a
continued
74% increase.
up to 92 by June, where it
Wow,
peaked,
doubled.
where it peaked. And now we're back at $62. Okay, but you can see after Russia and OPEC Plus, they announced their first cut back in March. The price went from $60, it spiked up to 73, and now it's fallen back down. And last week, they announced another production cut, and oil really hasn't even paid attention. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's like bounced a percent or two. So
Mm-hmm.
they're ignoring it. So the powers that whoever's in oil is believing right now that there's an economic slowdown that's going to reduce the need for oil. And that's why oil has fallen from $92 down to $60. And barring geopolitical events, it's probably going to fall lower. If it probably is going back to the $50 range. Okay. But what I find very interesting, okay, so let's look at Petrobras, same time frame. Okay. So this is the end of 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Petrobras was at $9.74. It got up to, at the end of the year, it was at 11 bucks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then when
Double
the
top.
war started,
Mm-hmm. Triple top.
okay, before the war started, now this is very interesting because Petrobras is in Brazil. They're a member of the BRICS. Did they
Mm-hmm.
know ahead of time that there was going to be something going on with Russia? Maybe.
Good
Because,
point.
because look at what happened before. In January, Petrobras went from 11, before the war started, it got up to $14 from 11. So
Mm-hmm.
before USO made its move, Petrobras made its move.
Mm-hmm.
And it peaked in April at 15 bucks. In October, after the election, the price fell from 15.43 back down to 8 bucks, $8 and change. It dropped in half.
Socialistas.
It
Yep.
dropped in half. So
Mm-hmm.
now it's been climbing back up and then falling, climbing back up. Well, look at what happened last week.
Look at the big old candle on that baby.
So since the election, since the post
Mm-hmm.
election reaction, it has ranged between 880 and 13 and 12 bucks
Got it.
until last week. And
Look at that massive candle.
last week it broke from 1150 and it closed yesterday at 1376 with a high of
Joy.
1381. It has
Joy.
not seen 1381 since before the election, the week of October 24th.
Looks like it's
Well,
filling that gap now. Yeah.
the gap has been filled.
Yep.
So my point is, I just showed USO was flat to going down. Petrobras is popping a rod. Why?
So instead of being a lagging indicator, maybe Petrobras in some way, shape, or form is a leading indicator. Could it be
What?
because my understanding is they have technology and capability to pull the oil out of the ground, or I guess the ocean? They have rigs in the ocean, I believe, to pull it out, but they don't have the capabilities to, my understanding, and I'm not an oil guy, but
I've had
they
this
make,
trend line on Petrobras
yeah.
for over a year.
You've been following it a while. I know
And
that.
and and look at where this trend line just happens to line up right now. Look at that.
Oh, wow.
Look at that.
Amazing.
So Texas
Wow.
Bob talks about a confirmation day. So what he says is when a trend is broken,
Yeah.
there's plenty of head fakes in the market. Now we're going to have to watch this next week. If Petrobras continues higher, this is a real breakout.
Yeah, good point.
And what that's and the reason I'm bringing this up is if this is real, what is going on with Petrobras that USO isn't reacting? Okay, like let's go to I don't know, let's go to Exxon Mobil.
So USO seems to be not taking it seriously at the moment. The Saudis' message, or they're lagging.
Okay,
Whereas
who's the largest oil company in the world? Exxon Mobil.
Brazil has gotten a beat on it because they're part of the BRICS. And they see what's coming sooner because they're in that inner circle now.
Can you see this chart on Exxon Mobil?
Yes.
Do you see a pop?
No. Not really. Well, slight double top, you could argue, towards the end of it.
Let me rephrase the question so you understand it. In the last day or two, do you see a pop?
No.
Last week, do you see a pop?
No.
Did it look like the Petrobras chart?
No, that's what I'm trying to say. Not at all.
That isn't what you said.
It's the opposite. Yeah. It's
Okay.
flattish.
Let's go to Chevron. Let's go to Chevron, another large oil company.
Okay, so all right. So yeah, so these are great examples. So what's your overarching point? I think I know.
What do you think it is?
Spell it out.
You tell me, what do you think it is?
I just said
What
it
am
a
I
minute
trying
ago.
to say?
Well, you just alluded to, and it seems
See
to make
Chevron.
sense.
Chevron, do you see a pop?
No. So the point is, these are all Western companies, Western going concerns. The Saudis made an announcement in the last week or so about cutting supply, I believe it was. The USO and these companies have not, at least currently, reacted, or their price points have not reacted yet, or accordingly.
Yep.
Yet
Here's Chevron.
Petrobras has done the complete opposite. So, on one end, you could argue, is Petrobras in a way, a leading indicator of such policies, particularly since they're part of the BRICS, in which we now know the Saudis are more and more intertwined with.
Here's BP.
British Petroleum, been around since 1921, took the initial oil fields from the Iraqis.
Do you see a pop?
No.
Give me another oil company. We can go to Warren Buffett's oil company here. There we go again.
Okay, so
Here's
you've
Oxy. Do you see it? Do you see a pop?
No. So you've made your point. So now what? What do you think? What's your thought on this? I just gave you my thoughts. What are your thoughts?
Well, what is your conclusion?
You're going to make me say it a third time?
No. Well, but what I'm saying, what is the actionable? What would you say is the actionable intelligence on this? Is there any?
Well, that's what I'm trying to discern.
There's one of two things going on.
What does Petrobras know that the other companies don't know? Go ahead.
Either something is going on in Brazil, and this company specifically, maybe people know that they're going to come out with $100 dividend, and they're reacting ahead of time, getting positioned. Maybe it's something in the company, or maybe, okay, I just showed that Petrobras, before the war in Russia started, their stock was reacting. Do you remember me saying that?
Yeah.
So what do they know that, do they know that something's coming now? So is this a short, or is this a get long in some of the other oil companies before
Exactly.
they pop?
Yeah, no, I agree. It seems like they're sort of ahead of the curve, and they seem to be some sort of a leading indicator. They seem to maybe have a bead on something that the other going concerns, at least currently, don't. Hence, what do they know that we don't?
You're very good at, so basically it's, if it goes to $14 from 11.50, that's a $2.50 change. That's
Mm-hmm.
20% in a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm. 25.
That's a pretty good return.
It's fantastic. 50% a month,
So
600% a year.
So the oil companies that have been beaten down or haven't moved, the other thing is BP has a huge natural gas connection as well. So if natural gas moves and oil moves, BP is probably a pretty good investment to get into right now.
Okay. I'll note these on my tracking paper for this week. Good point.
Yep. And
Good
the other
stuff.
thing I want to show that I found, at least it struck me as odd, but you see that shape in the last year of Petrobras? It's almost like you could argue it's a bear flag into like a cup. You see it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, let's go to Tesla. Doesn't that look similar?
Yeah. Yeah.
Petrobras right now, if this, my point is we're going to know on Monday.
Yeah.
If this confirms on Monday,
Yeah.
then this says that Petrobras, I'll tell you right now, it's
Yeah.
is saying Petrobras is going to go to, let's see, that's 280 plus 280 plus 1350 is 1630. And if I look at the chart, look at that, Dan. What's the high of that candle?
Yeah.
1632. So
Wow.
it's saying Petrobras is going back to 1632. If this confirms on Monday, buy calls on Petrobras for 1630.
Nice analysis. Yeah. I think definitely possible. Yep. Could double top up there is what I was trying to say.
And the point is if Petrobras is going to highs, because that's its high. If Petrobras is going to highs, well, you could sell puts on it, right? You could sell puts or you could buy calls. So that means, Warren Buffett might know something here, right? Maybe that's why he doubled down on his investment in Oxy.
Good point.
But
I'll make a note of that.
now Devon Energy is a little bit more dangerous play because Devon Energy, I believe, most of Devon Energy is based on fracking, and fracking is a very, very dangerous. It's a Ponzi. Fracking is a Ponzi. Yeah. Fracking is a Ponzi scheme.
Oh, okay.
And at some point, that Ponzi is going to end. Yep. So Monday's the day. So what's the conclusion on Petrobras that I said?
Yeah. So the conclusion is you got to watch it Monday.
Because it has to be the next day. It can't be 2 days from now, 3 days from now. It's the next day. Confirmation has to be the next day.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. So if you confirm that it, if you get that confirmation, then like you said, you're going long with buying a call or selling a put. Take advantage of that double top going to as high as 1630-ish.
And there's less danger buying a call, obviously.
Yes. I lean towards the call myself.
Yeah, because it caps your losses.
Yeah. Caps your losses. You're not on the hook for shares and having the cash in the background for it. Yep.
Yep. So next, just to end, next week's the Fed meeting. And if the market comes out, because we won't know, if the market comes out and says on Wednesday we're raising 25 basis points, do you think the market has a hissy fit?
No, not on 25.
Oh, I completely disagree with you.
Yep.
Because the market is already the market move is based on a pause and a cut.
Yeah, I mean,
So a 25 basis point would not be a pause or a cut.
well, I agree with you that the market probably has priced in or is expecting the fact that there'll be no raise. But then I'm hearing on the grapevine from other whatever sources that potentially there could be one or two more raises. But
That's not
25,
what the market believes.
25 basis points tops. I mean, if they were to go to 50 basis points or more, which they won't, but if they were, then the market would absolutely have a hissy fit. You'd lose 5-10% in a day. Easy. The shit would hit the fan. 25, I don't think so. It might flatten stuff out or whatever. But yeah, no, I agree. I don't expect a rate increase either. I agree with you. I don't, but I think the possibility's there.
Who's saying you agree with me about what? I didn't say there was not going to be a rate increase.
Okay, so I think there's a 2/3 chance that there will not be a rate increase. I think there's a 1/3 chance there will be. And if there is a 25 base, it'll be no more than 25 basis points, and the market will not, I don't think, flip out on that.
Oh, I disagree with you. I think based on what I've seen, okay, Powell has been saying for the last year, he's very clear about this, is he does not want to make the mistake that they made back in the 80s where they paused, and inflation came roaring back like a wildfire that they could not control.
Exactly.
And then they had to take these extreme measures.
True.
And that is his primary. He doesn't give, and when I say he doesn't give a crap, I'm not saying he doesn't really give, but when it comes to priorities, he only has one priority right now, and that is to make sure inflation does not go out of control.
Yep.
Because he's still worried about that.
The
fact that we had a very strong labor market result over the last couple of weeks
did not make him happy.
Well, it signifies that there's not enough pain out there. And the fact that people, this is the other thing nobody's talking about, the fact that all this money just poured into the market, over $2 billion a day was pouring into the market last week.
Mm-hmm.
That is going to tell him still too much discretionary income out there.
Okay.
I've got to push. I think he's going to raise, and I think people are going to be shocked. And I think he's going to raise June. I think he's going to raise July, and I think he's going to raise September. You're on mute. There you go. You did something again. All right. Well, we'll end it there because Dan's computer is acting up, doing whatever it's doing. The technology guy who there's always, I mean, literally, there's always something. There was something at the beginning, and now there's something at the end. It's like, hey, I'm a self-proclaimed professional. So that's the other thing is, the other thing that I do want to say that you did not mention, have you noticed that the interest rate on the 10-year is back to highs? So that's the other thing, folks. 10 years creeping up. The spread is widening. So everybody's going into this tech stuff that's speculative and needs all this money, but the money's getting that much more expensive. We are in a delusional time frame right now. And I think we're getting very close. And I would love to see him raise 25 basis points because I think the market would take a huge dump. People would freak out. Because think about it, Dan. All these people are putting their money into the market trying to get ahead of the Fed. Because they're convinced the Fed is going to say, we're pausing or we're cutting rates. That's what they're expecting. And they're expecting happy days are here again. So that would definitely change everything. So those are my opinions. Dan said his opinions, and we're off on the weekend. Have a good one. Peace. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll find out next week who's right or who's wrong. which is always the interesting thing, because it's not difficult to be wrong in the markets. Hopefully you position yourself so that if you are wrong, two things. If you are wrong, and it's something I'm still trying to improve upon, if you are wrong, cut immediately once you know you're wrong. And that's it. I forget what the second point is. So, all right, peace. Bye.